Hello and welcome back. It's NVclosetmedgrower, and we're back for unboxing and testing of the Lux 600. This is a new LED light from TopShelfLight.com that I plan on testing. It uses 4 pre-cob LEDs, the CX8, and a 189 5-watt Lux diode LEDs. So, with no further ado, we're going to open this thing up and get right into it. Alright, off camera you can see I made one cut across here, one cut across there, one cut across here. Opened up the shrink wrap, also cut all the bands. The packaging came nice and discreet. The only thing on this packaging, other than what you had seen, was my shipping label, which was a standard FedEx shipping label. So, definitely nice discreet shipping. Now let's open this up and take a look at what's inside. Wow. See, already this is going to be a pretty amazing unit. Like we got a few different pieces here. These look like they're the cob lenses. The lenses on the top are supposed to be removable. Set these on my workbench here. On this side, power cord, 2 hangers, and looks like a cord extender. Very nice. Now, let's see what I can do about pulling that light out of there. Wow, this is one piece of LED. Definitely pretty good packaging they put together to make sure this is going to ship safe. I don't see how any which way that thing would have got damaged during shipping. So far so good. Beautiful looking panel. I'm gonna pause the video real quick, pick you guys up, and we'll get a little bit closer and take a little bit better look at this. Alright, as you can see here, it's got 9 different pods with the Bridge Lux diodes in them, and it looks like there's 21 diodes per pod, so pretty cool. And then 4 nice big pre-cobs in the middle. If we take a look here on our measuring tape, put it across the top. When you actually get it measured out, it's just shy of 22 inches by 22 inches. Pretty much perfect square, so very cool. This light's supposed to be made to do a 4x4 flowering area, and that's what I plan on using it for. We'll see what it does. Let's see about carefully putting this down on top of this foam. Take a look at the back. CX8 pre-cob chips. here we go, full spectrum cob, LED grow light, 615 watts full power, AC 100 through 240 volts, so switchable between those. Anywhere from 2.45 to 5.6 amp power draw is what it's rated at, but we'll end up testing all that ourselves. I do have a meter right here that we're going to put this on, and we're going to test my exact draw out of my current on my wall. See, also this light comes with a veg and bloom, so very cool. Excited to get this thing up and running. Also, I like that it has these style hangers on it, nice and solid, built into the corners. So I think what's next to get done is to get this thing finished unpacking, put these lenses in place over the cobs. Didn't show you guys these. I didn't even look at them yet. Very cool. So, get this thing hung up in the middle of the room so we can do a little bit of light and electrical testing. To install the lenses on the new cobs, it's very simple. For this, you just unscrew that little outer coupling, set the lens in place with the bubble facing out, and line it back up and screw it back down. Once you get all four of those in place, we'll be ready to turn on the light and test it out. Alright, I got the light here all plugged in, and I'm about ready to do the initial startup so we can see just how bright this thing is. Turned off all the lights in the room other than one small light in the background, and let's check it out. First, let's start off with the veg switch. Bang! All four cobs blinded, everybody. Now the bloom switch. There's the rest of the panel. It's pretty cool. So the veg does the cobs in full spectrum, or in a full spectrum mode, a little more blues. Bloom does the rest of it. Let me get some other lights on here and quit blinding y'all. Alright, the next test I want to do is I want to find out how much wattage this light is pulling from my wall. So you see I got my kilowatt meter out, and obviously it's just sitting on the couch temporarily for testing purposes. And I'm going to go through and we're going to hit the veg switch, the bloom switch, and hit both of them and go through and look at what kind of numbers this pulls. So let's start off with the veg, running the 4 Cree cobs. Alright, see that just kicked on and kind of pulled down the voltage on my line a little bit. Still running 117.3. Amperage right around 2.3. 265 watts, give or take, bouncing between 260 and 270. And frequency, yep, still holding solid right at 60 hertz. So perfect. That's not too bad at all for this should veg a 4x4 space. 260 watts at the wall. That's not bad at all. So we will get my Lux meter out and take a look at exactly how much light it's pushing out also. So that's veg. Let's look at the bloom only mode. See, I just turned veg off, wattage drop back to 0. Bloom only. Alright, voltage pop back down to 117. right around 3 amps being pulled from the Bridgelux diodes. And this is on bloom only. Give or take right around 345 watts from the wall. It's very, very pink. And of course our frequency should be holding steady. So, there's that. Let's turn on full spectrum. See, this thing's really taxing that line now, pulling all the way down to 116.2 volts. Still fine though. Total of right around 5.15 amps. Fluctuating right around that range. And there we go, folks. Total wattage at the wall, just shy of 600 watts, right around 592, I'd call it. 592 watts, 591 watts from the wall, fluctuating. Looking good. So those are pretty good numbers. I mean, for the ability to be able to blast out a 4x4 tent, which is the hope, that is really good wattage numbers to do it. So I think we need to go back and take a little look at the footprint and how the light performs under the light meters. Alright, see, I got the Duo Lux 600 from TopShelfLight.com here. Sitting exactly 2 foot above the ground. I measured it out, leveled it out, so that way both sides are perfectly even. And now I'm trying to measure out where the top of the canopy is. The company says that this light's rated in flower to be 2 foot off of the top of the canopy. So I wanted to see exactly where the footprint of the light mapped at 2 foot up. And you can see right here where I have these tape measures out that the canopy actually measures perfectly at 4 foot by 4 foot. It does round slightly in the corners, so in a 4 foot by 4 foot tent you might lose just a couple inches on your flowering spaces right up in the corners, but other than that, it's going to be very, very effective footprint for flowering out our 4 by 4 space. Definitely, and because that's at the top of the canopy, so all of my colas will be sitting about where the ground is under this light. Now the bottom of the canopy then, in most indoor settings, especially with LED lights, I recommend it somewhere between a 10 and 12 inch thick canopy. So, well then afterwards I will raise this up to the 3 foot mark, and I'll take a little bit of Lux Readings there and we'll see what it looks like. So I think the next thing I need to do is pull out my Lux Meter, and we'll take a little bit of readings around the canopy and just kind of free range around and look at exactly how bright this is at 2 feet away. Give me 1 second. So I have my Lux Meter out, and this is what a Lux Meter will do is it'll give us a good measure of the visible light hitting down on our canopy. And even though visible light's not exactly the same as our photosynthetic active radiation light that our plants feed on, it's pretty close, so it'll give us a good approximation of how much light our plant can actually feed on or will be able to use for photosynthesis. And you see right here I have this at, that's 100 times whatever it says on that meter. And it right now a dead center canopy is right around 76,000 lux, which is beautiful. That's exactly where I want it to be. I found with most LED lights right around 75,000 lux on the very top, most intense part of your canopy seems to be about right. Once I approach 80,000 or above, I usually end up getting bleached tops. So I think this is definitely set about right at about 2 foot above the canopy for our top of the canopy. And we'll take some readings here at where it is further out. So see, as we get further out, it's definitely weakening down, but it's still a whole lot of light. We can go all the way out to the edge of the canopy there, and I've still got 8,500 lux. Well, if I turn it towards the light slightly, almost 9,000, 10,000. So, see, this is a very, very bright LED light, and it's giving me plenty of light to work with. So, you can kind of see, and based on how these diodes are set, and being that all my diodes are working fine, this quadrant right here should be reflected evenly amongst each corner. So any of these readings you see on here, put that marking in the same spot, should be the same amongst this. So far so good. I'm actually really impressed with the output that this light has. So I think I'm going to raise my light 1 more foot, and then we'll see about how much intensity the light has at the 3-foot mark, which will be the bottom of our canopy, the bottom of where I'm going to flower buds at, and see what it looks like with a direct light at 3 foot away. 1 second. Alright, you can see I moved the light up to the 3-foot mark now, and it really expanded the footprint of the light pretty greatly. You can notice from where I got the markings now, I'm somewhere around 66 or 67 inches, that it has an effective footprint where it's blasting light in an open air environment. It's a little over 5 foot in a square. So I mean, if you did use multiple of these units in, say, a warehouse environment, they would have a really nice overlapping light penetration that would probably do very well, just based on how these lenses are projecting the light and which angles they're coming from. So let's take a look here at some of our readings. Let's go dead center. Now I'm looking at about 37,000 lux, which is pretty decent at the 3-foot mark. And this is in full spectrum mode. This is with the full light running. So if I was going to put a plant in vegetative mode, I think this would definitely be somewhere around the starting mark that I would put the light at. Somewhere around 3.5 foot would probably be good for, early to mid vegetative mode plants. Seedlings and things like that could probably be 4 foot or further. In fact, you might even want to, for that matter, put it on veg only mode with just the cobs. And you can see I'm still sitting about 20,000 lux at 3 foot, which is beautiful actually. That's pretty nice for seedlings and small veg. I don't like to go much less than 20,000 on my intense part of the canopy then. For veg though, because you end up with a little too much stretch. But definitely a beautiful piece of equipment. I'm pretty impressed. And you can see the spread of the spectrum is pretty decent at this. As I go further out, it's still dropping down in lux as it should, but it's not dropping down at such a rate that it's unusable light. You see I'm starting to get a little too low to really start to do anything around here once I get below 5,000 lux. So again, that gives me a range somewhere right around 66 inches, 65 inches at 3 foot mark. So pretty impressive, very impressive light. One few other things to talk about while I have this up and hanging is the cooling on it. See, there's 4 rather large, I think they're 120 millimeter fans running right above each cob. If you look down through there, each cob has its own individual heat sink, as well as each one of the Bridgelux pods has its own heat sink. So, and the fans are mounted directly above the cobs, so more or less the cool air will pull in from the top, blow directly down onto the cobs, dissipate within the machine, and blow out the sides through these vents around the entire side of the machine. And I can honestly say for LEDs, I've used a few of them now from a few different companies. This one's running pretty pretty dang cool. Like, I really am not feeling almost any bit of warmth extra coming off of this other than directly underneath the lenses. So definitely an amazing light, and I'm looking forward to see how it goes. I'm only got one last thing to do with this, and that's to install it in the 4x4 tent and see how it looks over top of the plant. Alright, you see we got the Duo Lux 600 all installed in my 4x4 tent. I'm going to be using a flood and drain setup in here, so that does kind of minimize our vertical space we got. But for right now, I have it sitting exactly 2 foot off the canopy, and for the first couple days, I'm actually going to turn that off and go in vegetative only mode and let this veg out for about 2 days just to get acclimated to the light. After it gets acclimated to the light, we're going to switch it to flower and really see what this light can do. When I switch it to flower, I'm going to put it in full spectrum mode, and I'll work to, you see how I got these chains, get this just a little higher in the top of the tent. So if I didn't have such a tall flood and drain automated watering system set up in here, this light would work perfectly fine in almost any standard 4x4 though, if your pots were sitting a little lower. So definitely very cool. I am looking excited to get this going. This is Beyond Dreams by North Genetics. So yeah, a nice big happy healthy plant, and I'm going to run a single plant, scrog out the whole 4x4. So I want to thank TopShelfLight.com yet again for sending me the Duo Lux 600 to show to everybody out there. And I want y'all to definitely hit them up. Go to their website if you want to order any of these, or if you need any other information on this product or any other products they make. And also follow along my YouTube channel and my weekly updates to see how this ends up working for me. So until next time, it's NVclosetmedgrower. Peace.